Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your host, Shinry. Here at the Everything Anime Podcast, I'm from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and whatever on topic I'm talking about. Today's video is on Superman and Lois, specifically season 4, but I kind of want to talk about all of it. I just finished it and I loved it. That season finale had more pros than cons. But all of season 4 kind of had all of the season had a little bit of cons. But overall, like out of all of the CW shows, Superman and Lois had to have been the best one. First of all, in my opinion, I'm not a comic book fan. I'm not a comic book nerd. I love the Green Lantern. I don't even know much about the Green Lantern. Side tangent. I have this video idea I want to do. So if you guys don't know, I've cosplayed Sinestro before. I've done most of all of the Green Lantern Corps. But the thing is, back when I was cosplaying Green Lantern, I only cosplayed Green Lantern because I loved his power. I love that my favorite color's always been green. I love that his power is limited only to his imagination. Like, you can create a construct out of anything as long as you... And it's strongest if you know the ins and outs of it, like how it works, how it's built. And so... Well, I'll explain all that when I do that video. But basically, the video I plan to do is explaining how and where I would have put the Green Lantern into the Arrowverse while doing a Get Ready With Me, transform myself to Last Sinestro again. Now, it's been a long time since Last Sinestro, especially like this, so hopefully that video comes out pretty good. But it's just something really fun and creative. And I have a whole 12-episode step plan of how I would have brought him in there. I think you guys will like it. So look forward to that video in about like March or so. I know it seems like a long time away, but my makeup is in Florida, and I'm not going to Florida until 2025. So, but I am excited to do that video for y'all. Anyways, back to Superman and Lois. So, yeah, I'm not much of a comic book fan, but, like, we all know who Superman is. We all know who Batman is. Like, I want to say, even kids, even my nephew, before, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was, like, huge as it is now, he knew who Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman was. Maybe when he was about 4 years old. And it's because, like, those characters are, like, just so huge. They're so, like, grandiose. They're so familiar to all of us. Like, even if you're not a DC fan, like, say you're a Marvel fan, but you didn't know who Moon Knight was. You didn't know who Black Panther was. You didn't know who Miss Marvel was. You would know if somebody said who Wonder Woman is. You would know who the Flash is. You know who Green Lantern is. So, someone iconic like Superman and Batman, you already know. And I think they just did a great job. Tyler Hoechlin is not only hot as fuck, like, yeah, I know, but he is hot as fuck. He's built as fuck. Like, that, I think most of that is, like, not even, like, a muscle suit. I think that's just Tyler Hoechlin himself. I've also met Tyler Hoechlin. Very, very sweet guy. Very nice man. The smile is perfect. Like, he's always smiling. He really does represent hope. And even though Superman and Lois is separate from the Arrowverse, like, I know at one point it was a part of it because, like, he was brought into Supergirl. And he did a bunch of crossovers and stuff like that with the CW Arrowverse. But eventually they made Superman and Lois its own universe after that whole Earth. We ain't gonna get... The reason why I'm not ever gonna review the CW Arrowverse is, though, even though I liked it for the most part, there's a lot of problems, especially with the Flash. And that's actually where I'm gonna... Let me stop talking. This is not the Green Lantern video where I'm gonna transform into Sinestro. But there's, like, a lot of problems in the Arrowverse. But specifically that Crisis on Infinite Earths, like, that was messy. And Superman and Lois, I don't think it had a higher budget, because the Flash definitely had a higher budget, had maybe the highest budget. But it has a good enough budget where, like, you know, it was more about the storytelling, like the family aspect, with some villains of the weeks, with some overarching villains, overarching story. I think for the most part, most seasons are good. Like, I love the Sons were amazing. Lois fucking incredible. Like I said, Tyler Hoechlin Superman, Clark Kent, amazing. I didn't know much about who Lana was, or I didn't like her in the beginning, but, like, throughout the seasons, Lana was great. Her daughter was kind of annoying, especially that one season where she cheated on the son. I think it was John. Might have been Jordan. I don't know. But, like, they were trying to justify her cheating, and I was just like, no. And But even though there's a lot of plot lines introduced over the 4 seasons, by the last season they actually wrapped everything up like pretty nice in a bow tie and everything. And I'm not gonna review season by season, but just over talking about it as a whole, like things that were introduced for the first 3 seasons, like Jordan's girlfriend moved away randomly off the show. Maybe they had nothing to do with her, no more plot lines. They brought her back in the final season. At first I was confused about why, but as you watch the final season, you see like everything that's been introduced is wrapping up. It's coming to a close. The relationship between Lana and her husband, I used to skip through that because I was just bored. Like they broke up. Lana's husband started dating the reporter that Lois works with, and then she starts looking at John Henry Irons, and I was just like, I don't care about this. But again, they wrapped it up too in season 4, where Lana marries John Henry Irons, and her husband marries the reporter. But they always have a moment to each other where they're like, hey, you're doing good. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you too. Very cute. It didn't have to be done, but because you're telling a story, because this writer, the screenwriter, is an author. We're all authors. We're all writers. He wrapped that story up on a nice bow. John and Lena's daughter, they reconnected. Jordan and his girlfriend reconnected. Maybe they didn't end up together, but they reconnected. And it's just so great that after like all four of your seasons wrap up in a nice perfect bow. Also, let's talk about this identity reveal thing. It was like huge. Superman, Clark Kent, but he was kind of forced to expose himself because the guy in the like, how did his secret get out? Superman died, and then Lois and his kids were crying over him specifically. Lena was pushing everybody away, and I think some of the people had caught on that he was Superman. But then when Superman comes back specifically, everybody's like, because he spoiler warning, Superman dies. They do the death of Superman thing and the return of Superman. He's killed by Doomsday, which was the season 3 teaser. Superman and Doomsday were about to go at it, and dude, the opening of the first fucking episode, fucking incredible. Doomsday and Superman are going at it. You can see Superman's losing, and the final shot of Superman's cape just floating in space because he's been killed supposedly. Episode 2, they're still fighting. You can see Superman get his ass whooped. In the episode 2, Superman has his heart ripped out, and Superman can't come back without a heart. So all of episode 3, you're thinking like Superman's dead, he's gone. I mean, obviously they're gonna bring him back, we didn't know how. And then, Lois's father dies, the kid's grandfather, General Lane, so he can give his heart to Superman by like injecting his heart with like Superman's blood. And Superman comes back, but he's getting weaker because he has a human heart. Like, fucking amazing consecutive storytelling. And you can see how, and they don't just tell that Superman's getting weaker. Like first, he's flying with his son, Jordan, because Jordan gets his powers all at once. Had a semi problem with that, but like not too much, because Jordan, even though it was like a bizarro Jordan Superboy that had all his powers in season 3, because John's had his powers in season 1. I was like, I can't really get too mad about Jordan getting powers too, because he had it, even if it was a bizarro evil version in season 1. So people that were upset about it, I'm like, that's fine. Both his kids having powers is actually pretty cool. And the only problem I do have is that they both got their iconic suits at the very end. Jordan got his suit that he had in Bizarro World, but like a little more updated. And then John got a different version of a Superboy suit, which looked good for him. I'm glad he got different suits. And they looked good for the suits they had, but we only got to see them on screen for 1 second. That kind of sucked. I wish we had at least a final episode, like they got the suits. And speaking of suits, we're going to bring up that in a second too. But yeah, Superman is flying with his son, and then they're racing each other, and then suddenly Superman, because he's got that human heart, like he starts getting tired and he passes out. Like, great way to show us that Superman can't do. He's becoming less super. But the reveal why he had to expose himself is because people started to recognize, like, hey, Clark is, well, they didn't know Clark Kent was Superman, but like Superman came back, and obviously they knew like he had some connection to Lois. So the guy confronts him, like this guy that Superman had like didn't beat up, but like basically warned, like, hey, stop causing all this trouble in this town. He comes back and shoots Superman in the bar. He's like, well, if you're not Superman, if you are Superman, then you'll survive this. But what if Clark, because he has a human heart, did get shot and die again, or got injured? Like, I'm glad they didn't go that route because obviously, like, I like this reveal better. But he's forced to expose his Superman. He becomes a massive celebrity, and he starts getting interviewed on TV, and like the whole world is just blown away. That's better than how Green Lantern did. Green Arrow did the Iron Man reveal. Like, I am the Green Arrow. I know it was a big deal for a little bit, but not that much. And in Flash, he just takes off the fucking helmet every fucking time someone talks to him. Like, I was just like. To all the villains too, and sometimes not even the major villains, like Barry, you suck at your hiding your secret identity. You really do. Legends of Tomorrow didn't really have to do their exposing themselves. Batwoman didn't. Who else was that? I forgot most of them CW shows. I know I watched most of them, but I had zoned out a lot of them. But yeah, the Superman and Lois did it the best. Superman exposing his identity, and it was a major thing. Now, one of the problems I have with specifically is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor did not feel as smart as he should be. Now, again, I am not a Superman fan. I'm not a comic fan. I don't really know much about it. But what I do know about Lex Luthor, he's like the arch nemesis of Superman. But he felt stupid. Even Lois calls him out. Lois is like, you let Amanda, his subordinate, his like henchwoman, make the plans, and he just goes along with it. Now, I knew by the season finale because Doomsday comes back, and Superman doesn't defeat Doomsday in round 2. He didn't even defeat Doomsday at all. Lois defeated Doomsday the first time. Well, he does beat Superman. Superman does beat Doomsday in a way. I'll get there. But Lois defeats Doomsday by like calling out that she's like, you recognize me, because in season 3, Doomsday was transformed from Bizarro Superman, who had a Lois on his Earth. Bizarro Superman being from like alternate universe, alternate timeline, what was the Flash calling that place? Earth 2, whatever. They had an Earth 2 in their universe, where Bizarro Superman lived with his Lois, but his Lois got killed and he got turned into Doomsday by Lex Luthor. And Lois basically called out to him and he recognized her because like he had a Lois, and he like essentially was gonna off himself, but he came back, or Doomsday did off himself, but Doomsday came back because Doomsday can't die that way. And then the third time Superman and Doomsday fight, respect to how many times Doomsday and Superman fight, like it's not like a 1-2 fight, it's like several fights and several deaths. But the third time Superman teams up with John Henry Irons with a simple ass plan. They said this plan would be more strategic than it was. It was just throwing John Henry Irons' hammer at Doomsday's head, which makes sense because that's how John Henry Irons almost killed Superman. But it knocks out Doomsday, and Superman I'm gonna fly him into the sun. Even if he's brought back, he'll eventually get burned over and over again, so he'll officially die. But Superman still doesn't kill Bizarro because he was about to, but Bizarro kind of like killed himself. He's like, hey, wait, I remember who I am, and I want this. And then Superman just pushes him gently. Better. That was fucking incredible. That is Superman. I like that Superman didn't punch him. I like that Superman pushed him. It's great fucking storytelling. It shows that not only these writers understand Superman and his kindness and who he is, but just shows that Superman has that compassion. It was like I understand too, because he could have been like, boy, get the fuck out of here. He was like, I'm sorry. It was that kind of push. Like, there's a difference, when like not offing somebody, but like having to do something that you don't want to do or no longer have to do. Well, you have to do, but like you don't want to do it. But back to Lex Luthor, yeah. I knew by the end Lex Luthor would get John Henry Irons' suit because obviously that's the suit that he has to fight Superman in. I was like, if you kill Doomsday, and this is before the final episode, then Lex Luthor is going to be the final villain to fight Superman. What I don't like that when he got the suit, and I'm probably not going to clip in anything because I don't want this video to get copyrighted or taken down or blocked, but if you've seen season 4 or you haven't watched season 4, definitely watch season 4. It's worth it. But I expected after he got the suit, change it green, put the L on it, do something. They kept it exactly like John Henry Irons' suit. And maybe that was for budget reasons, but I mean, even if you CGI the fucking suit on there, that would look better. Like, I mean, I don't know. Make it, especially for your last season, go all out. Because again, Lex Luthor was not given like a mad evil genius scientist. Now, towards the end, Lex is trying to kill kill Amanda. He's trying to kill everybody. That's fine. That's a Lex Luthor villain I can understand and get behind, because you hate Superman that much. But the rest of it, I was just like, you're not giving that much of a villain. You're kind of underwhelming. Like, you're not this overarching super smart villain or anything like that. I didn't like it. But they took him down. They put him back in prison. Oh, and also, I don't understand. It's not like they had like an ongoing history of him and Superman. Like, Lex Luthor was in prison for like 17 years thanks to Lois. So, even though he hates Superman, it's more that he hates Superman because Lois was always protected by Superman. So I'm like, it wasn't even much of a rivalry between you two, as far as I can tell. Not the way that it was implied. And then finally, how all of it ends was pretty cool. Well, very sad, not cool. Let me say it like that. Well, I'm gonna say cool because how it exactly ends. But towards the end, after they took down Lex Luthor, there's like an era piece where like Superman got to live 32 more years. Some of it with Lois, but eventually her cancer came back. Her cancer from season 3, that was like a whole thing. And they did it perfectly. They did it amazingly. They did it with a lot of respect, I think. But Lois's cancer comes back, which is a real thing that happens to people. And then she passes away before Superman does. He doesn't die with her. That's not that kind of cute ending. But like, I like that she comes up to her dad. That's the final thing she sees. And there's a callback to that at the very end. But that's something I also believe that like your loved ones are waiting for you once you die. They'll be there to greet you, and then they'll take you off to the other side. And we got to see John and Jordan as adults. They didn't look ugly as fuck. They look nothing like the actors. And they some cute. Well, they're like adults now, but like they're cute. But like their adult versions in that show look ugly as fuck. But we got to spend more time with Superman. He eventually got a dog named Crypto. Not the Crypto's the super dog that we know. It doesn't have any powers. It doesn't fly or anything like that. But just an homage to that. And like, just like a normal, ordinary person, Superman, like, he lived with his dog. And, he was being Superman with his kids. That's why we get that final shot with him and his kids in their super suits. And John Henry Irons and his daughter. They all basically became superheroes of that universe. And there was also something about, like, I thought they were going to do some Martian Manhunter. Like, early on, like, there's this, like, name thrown in there that I know Martian Manhunter uses, but Martian Manhunter never shows up in this universe. And they don't even go anywhere with that. So I'm not sure if that was just, like, a homage, but I don't know. Maybe Martian Manhunter could have showed up in one episode. Or maybe introduced Jon Stewart, in that universe. But yeah, how it ends is like, he gets to live his life, spending time with his kids, and eventually one day Superman's heart gives out and he dies. And as he's dying, he sees visions of like his family. But the best and final scene, bitch, the actor that played Lois, she in this beautiful red fucking dress. I ain't straight, but that bitch she was hot. I was like, ooh, bitch, you looking fly right now. And she knew she was. She was smiling, one hand on her hip. Like, come here, Tyler Hodgson. She wouldn't look at Clark Kent. She would look at the Superman. She's like, come here, Tyler Hodgson. And Tyler Hodgson was like, you know what? This is just TV show, babe. Telling his real wife, it's a TV show. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it ends with them going into heaven together, which I thought was really cool. Because Superman mentions, like, the first time he died, all he saw was darkness and blackness. Because he was just killed out of nowhere. He was kind of killed with sadness in his heart. Yeah, he still loved Lois. He loved his family. But, like, he just died out of nowhere. He probably never thought he would die. But then knowing that he can die, but by the time he dies, his heart was filled with love, and, there was no hatred, there was no sadness. He knew his boys could take over for him now because they had superpowers, and their kids probably had superpowers. So he knew, like, I can leave this to them. So just fucking, again, incredible storytelling, great storytelling. Overall, I do think it is the best version of anything to come out of the CW Arrowverse, even though Superman and Lois is now its own thing, it's not a part of the Arrowverse, but it's the best thing to come out of it. I think the other shows should have taken it more seriously like that. Like, Green Arrow started out strong up to season 5, but after season 5 it got kind of stupid, and he was acting way too much like Batman in the first place. And then The Flash, after like season 2, it started going downhill, in my opinion, like very fast. And that's actually, when we get to the video about the Green Lantern, I would have put the Green Lantern in season 3, and I'm going to explain how when I do that. And then Batwoman, whatever. It was whatever. Legends of Tomorrow, season 1, they tried to be serious. Season 2, they took it more comical. Season 2 was probably peak, but then after that, I kind of zoned out of Legends of Tomorrow. And if there was any other shows, I just forgot about them or I didn't care. But yeah, I think that's it. I really just want to talk about it because I really, really, really enjoyed Superman and Lois, like all 4 seasons. Again, if you have not watched it, I highly, highly recommend watching that show. It's so fucking good. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'll end the video here. Like I said, I'm not going to clip anything in because I don't want this video to get taken down. But Tyler Hoechlin, amazing job. If I see him at MegaCon or New York Comic Con, I definitely want to shake his hand again. I want to meet him. I want to meet the actor of Lois as well. Probably even the boys that played them because I like them for the most part. Don't really care about John Henry Irons. Don't care about Lex Luthor. He was definitely... I wasn't as one pro to the Lex Luthor. For Tyler Hoechlin being as jacked as he was, John Cypher would have not have been a good pair up. He was a good pair up for Supergirl because like she's kind of smaller, thinner, and less buff than Superman is or Tyler Hoechlin. Whereas like this guy was like a good version for this Superman and the seriousness of this universe. Whereas John Cypher with his goofiness, which wasn't a bad thing in Supergirl, he would have just been out of place for this kind of Lex Luthor. But yeah, that's probably the only pro for the Lex Luthor. And yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Just really want to compliment this season, compliment the whole cast, and like I said, I love the whole wrap up, everything came full circle. I gotta get ready for work, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces a choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And, to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So, if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.